evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 5, Episode 22, Mini 3 Shipping Saga Mavic 3 Huge Firmware Update. You know, it's one of those we have a great show lined up, and we're gonna get to the main topic, which is huge tonight. And what surprises me, there's something else to talk about besides the Mini 3. Okay, well, we're gonna get to that. We got a lot coming up. Ron's going to join me a little later, and hopefully Marcus will as well. Hope everyone was able to have a good weekend, a good 3-day weekend. And I hope everyone truly remembered what yesterday was all about, Memorial Day here in the United States, where we honor those that gave their last full measure in service to their country. And many of you saw I posted a plaque on the entrance to the cemetery at the church where I grew up in. There were 6 gentlemen who went off to World War II, all in their very early 20s, who never made it back home. And my dad knew all of them. I couldn't mention names without a tear coming to his eye. It really hit him. He was very fortunate and very blessed. And I'm very fortunate and blessed that he made it out unscathed from World War II. And we're very thankful for that. And we're very thankful for all who gave their lives to defend the freedom of this country. All right. Got a lot to talk about tonight. First thing, though, okay, all right, and I want to see in the chat. We're going to greet a lot of you guys. Cliff is in the house. Welcome, Cliff. Good to see you, Dr. Ted. Lauren's here, Flying Flynn Media, Johnny Dronefire, JSK Enterprise, Blood Love Bullies. See who else? Stephen Ewing, Akarasho's here. Dr. Ted's here. Jerry Bauer is here. Johnny Dronefire. Welcome, Johnny. Let's see who else we got. Okay. All right. Now, I know, and I gotta start out with this is the lead story here. Okay. Now this is just it's just too good not to talk about this. Okay. It's aviation. All right. Give me a little slack here. All right. Top Gun Maverick. All right. I'm gonna share just a quick picture with you guys here. Get my share button going up here. All right. First movie Valerie and I went to see since the pandemic hit. All right. And we went Saturday. We saw it in IMAX, which I think the big benefit with IMAX, believe it or not, is sound. And the sound in the theater was just insane. I can't say enough superlatives about this movie. I can't say enough about the cinematography, the action sequences. It was just top notch all the way around. I can't say enough about this, guys. It's just one of those things. You just got to go out and experience it. And I know our friend, good friend Jeff Voigt saw it as well. And he thought nothing could top the original Top Gun, and he told me, he said he was wrong. Very wrong. He said the original Top Gun. So get a chance, go see it. It's a great way to escape, go see a good movie. It's really well done. Okay. It's a believable plot. It can, within reason, but you got to realize Tom Cruise is in his mid-50s, and the job he did in this movie was incredible. Okay. Now for some, I don't want to call this lighter fare but the way of life here in Florida. All right. And I thought, this depicts it pretty doggone well here. Okay. That's a bull shark right here. And there's a lot here. In fact, there's a lot in the freshwater area of Florida, a lot of bull shark, and they've been actually spotted in the Mississippi River. Well, here you can see it got stranded on some coral or some rocks here, and you see what's behind it, okay, what we're best known for. And yes, alligators have been spotted in fresh water. So, yeah, I just thought, let's look at something a little bit on the light side here. All right. Yeah. I had to do that. I just had to do that. Captain Ray, welcome. Glad to see you here tonight. Okay. I'm finding it very funny. Well, I didn't want this to start. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to share my screen again. Yeah, there was an Inspire 3 little dealio out there, and I'm going to bring that up to show it to you guys. Okay, and it's just going on repeat again here. So I'm going to go ahead and all right. Well, one of the things that some observant people have said with this video here is that they only spotted one battery on the Inspire 3 here instead of the two that were on the Inspire 2. So, you know, it's hard to tell from this video because it's kind of going fast. You kind of got to stop it by. Welcome, Leonard Oglesby, and welcome, Paul Thomas. Thank you, and Fly Guy Merrill. Thanks, and Art. Welcome. So you know, so there, it's some more teasing. I don't expect this out till the fall. Okay, I really don't see it coming before fall. If anyone in the chat can enlighten me a little more on that, I will gladly accept your advice and on this. But I don't think we're going to see anything on this until probably fall sometime. And I'm also going to say it's going to be pricey. It's going to be very, very, very pricey. I'm going to say I expect it to start out around probably about 8 or 9K, and then add camera modules onto it and go up north from there. So that's just my guess. With all the improvements that DJI is going to have on this, it's going to be an incredible drone. It's going to do a lot. But remember, this is not a prosumer drone. This is a professional drone. Okay, it really is, like the Matrix series. This is now, you know, the Inspire 3 is not a, you know, some people still call it a prosumer, but we'll see when it comes out. And that's the information that I have on that. But I wanted to pass this on to you guys so you had a flavor of this and can see what's going on with this. You know, it's coming up. Now, you guys know that I had a Fimi X8 SE 2020, all right? And long since been sold. But our good friend, Captain Jones, Steve, from Canada, got one and had a review on it. And I want to go ahead and share, because I asked him some questions on this. Now, I'm going to show a part right here. Let's go ahead and share the screen. Now, what Steve's doing right here, it has a drop and release mechanism built into it. There's a module on it.
I'll stand farther away so I get a better image of it there. Yeah. So no problem lifting 130 grams. So it can probably lift quite a bit. So now you want to drop the Angry Bird. Say you were doing search and rescue and you had food dangling below. You want to drop it to the person you're rescuing. So that's what it's used for. So here we go. Let's just pick it up. There we go. Well, I'm in the sun, so let's move this way a bit. And that looks pretty cool. And I'm going to go on the lock system on here. Touch that. And I'm going to click on unlock. And hit OK. And it should be coming down any second. There we go. Boink.
Okay, so that shows the latch and release mechanism of the two new additional features on it. This one works fantastic. The speaker, not so much. Steve tested it a little earlier. Now, I will share with you, I left a comment for Steve, And one of the things he was able, one of the things that, one of the big takeaways, and I do invite you guys to go ahead and take a look at this video. One of the big takeaways I watched, and I asked him directly, and he sent his comment, no horizon tilt, when he had it out there, and I didn't see any on the video, which is obviously good news. Now, I also asked him about the smart controller, and he said last time he asked around February, I was told it was not ready yet. So there's no news on that. The camera is the same as the other 2022 version. There's no change for the camera. The flight characteristics looks to be about the same. Of course, precision landing didn't work for Steve here, but that precision landing on a Fimi drone, it's a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get on that. But let me go ahead, and I'm going to drop a link to this video in the chat so you guys can go ahead and take a look at this here. I highly encourage you guys to go ahead and watch his video. Steve does good reviews, so definitely go ahead and check him out. I think it's worthy of your time. He brought up a good point here. Now, right now on Banggood, it's probably around $4.99. He has a coupon code, and it's also going to be available for sale, believe it or not, on Amazon after June 1st. Probably about the same price. You're looking at delivery probably sometime middle to late July from what I saw out there. So stay tuned on that. But for $4.99, it's a pretty decent drone for what you get and for what it can do. So just wanted to get this out there for everybody. So you guys had an opportunity to know there is a review out there. I know this drone is very popular overseas. I do have a Fimi group. It's almost 10,000, and it's quite popular over in other countries. So stay tuned. I'm unsure whether or not I'm going to be getting this because I've been spending a lot of money lately. So, but wanted to let you guys know that it will be available. It is available now, actually, to purchase. You just probably won't get it because it is coming directly from China. Probably won't get it for about a month or so, is the way it looks right now, as far as that's concerned. So, now the Mini 3 Pro, and this is real interesting here because Drone DJ put out a good article today, and I want to go ahead and share that. And I thought this was an article worth sharing. Marcus, how are you, sir?
Not too bad, not too bad. Sorry, I'm late, Bill.
No problem. This is the first show we've had in weeks where the Mini 3 is not the lead part of the show, okay? Which is crazy. But we got some good things coming up to talk about here, and Ron's going to join us here in a little bit.
Bill, you got to tell me here. I need your help.
Okay.
Because I'm starting to think.
Okay.
The Mini 3, it's just vaporware, isn't it?
Well, here, what I'm going to do, and we're going to talk about this here in a minute, but there's an article that they had on Drone DJ, and I thought it was worth sharing because it kind of talked about the engineering behind the Mini 3 Pro, and it talked about how they kind of saved weight. And they talked to a product manager, and what he talked about, product development is divided between several distinct teams. Each group focuses on a specific aspect of the drone, such as propulsion, camera, obstacle sensors. When a team comes up with a new structure, they would like to see how it will affect the other structure. Production process becomes a constant state of mutual checking and balancing. Perfect example of the balancing act between engineering and teamwork was seen developing a completely redesigned obstacle sensing system for the Mini 3 Pro. Decision to place rear-facing sensors at the front of the drone ultimately came as a solution to a series of several challenges. To reduce overall load, the team looked for ways to replace internal cooling fan, which came in the form of rear propellers and arms redesigned to feed air into a set of holes in the back. But this novel cooling solution created a trade-off. The new propeller and arm structure would prevent the rear-facing sensors from seeing an unobstructed view. If the propellers and rear arms were raised, it would let the rear sensors see clearly, but this would bring the propellers away from the holes, decreasing their cooling ability, which was also shorten battery life. One problem soon became a stack of them. After several rounds of discussion and redesign, a completely different idea emerged. Why not place the rear-facing sensors toward the front of the aircraft? Never been done before, but the team found that it worked perfectly. Marcus, this is a great, people really talk about the pricing structure of DJI and how expensive it is, but I always like to say, and I know you and Ron agree with this, is you really get a lot of bang for your buck. And here's a great example of getting the bang for the buck.
There's a ton of engineering that goes into this. And the other thing about this drone is, Bill, as you know, I've purchased every mini drone out there, from the Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro to the Fimi to the Autel. None of them worked. None of them. Not one of them out of the box worked in such a way that you would be happy with it. Now, the Autel has improved a lot, and I just think now that somebody could purchase one of those and have something that worked just fine. But when they introduced it, it was a mess. And my personal one continues to be a mess. The Xeno Mini Pro, it's not even hardly worth talking about with all the issues that it still has. Hence the reason Hubsan is dumbing down their mini drones now to try and get them to actually work. Same thing with that little Fimi Mini. There's a lot of things I like about that little drone, but we all had a bunch of issues with the thing right off the bat. You're going to buy a DJI mini product that works out of the box. Will there be maybe a small issue or two here or there, just like we saw with the Mavic, with the GPS, etc., the Mavic 3? Very, very possibly. But you know what the thing is going to do, Bill? It's going to fly. It's going to fly well, and the camera is going to work awesome. That's what you get when you buy a DJI drone, and that's why you pay what we pay for these products.
Spot on, Marcus. You nailed it right there. Okay, the Fimi, the Autel, Hubsan. It was 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out kind of thing. And that's not to knock these companies at all. It's simply, and I think we've discussed this before. A lot of them were rushing to get these drones out to the market and put them out there way too soon. Had they held them back, did some quality control checks, saw some things, and then maybe got them out, it might have been a completely different story for a lot of these drones. But no, they rushed them to market and they paid the price for that. Okay. So DJI does not do that. I mean, we know that as a fact. Okay. They put their drones through their paces.
To be fair, though, Bill, we need to talk about our frustrations with that product as well. Now, I am not objecting to the time that it takes for me to get this drone as much as I am the lack of communication from DJI. Clearly, there's some problems going on with their shipping and so forth, and I wish they would just tell us. Just send us, they've got all of our email addresses, all of those of us that ordered them, and just say, hey, listen, this came up, this is what happened. So there you go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Can you tell, and this is a direct message on Twitter, can you tell me if there are DJI Mini 3 Pro drones in your California warehouse that are ready to be shipped? What is the delay? Hello, Bill. Due to the large order volume, the goods have been packaged and waiting for this UPS site to scan and update the routing. It is expected the routing will be updated before next Wednesday. Please rest assured. Welcome, Ron. How are you, sir?
Hey, Ron. Hey, Bill, I'm
busy muting the sound over here.
Before we move on, I want to say this explanation on the face of it does not make any sense.
No. Okay.
And quite frankly, it makes me more mad.
Oh, I know. Okay. I was telling Valerie, okay, because, part of her job, she's like a senior admin and she does a lot of shipping. All right. And has been involved with that. Okay. UPS is one of, if not the largest shipping companies in the world. Okay. Don't tell me they're so busy. They're sitting there waiting to scan.
It ain't UPS's fault. We know that. It is not UPS.
So, okay. So I followed this up and I didn't screen grab this, but listen to my next question. Okay. So could you answer my question? Why haven't they shipped? And they said, Bill, we will do everything to get your drone to you as soon as possible. for your inconvenience, we will give you a $25 DJI credit in your account. Okay. I didn't know what to say.
Better than poking the eye with a sharp stick. Trust me, there's going to be about 1,000 of us now that send DJI a frustrating.
Yeah, let me copy and paste that thing there so I can get my 25.
I mean, seriously, guys. You know, it's like, okay, you know, the game's afoot. You've heard that saying from one of
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, from Sherlock Holmes. Okay, the game's afoot. You know, this isn't a game here. Okay. And I gotta say this, okay, because I saw Sean from Air Photography. I'm back to doing Twitter, by the way, guys. Okay.
Oh,
on Build a Drone Reviewer.
Now you didn't purchase Twitter now that the other guy backed out, did you?
Yeah. Now that Elon's gone, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna write my check for it. Get my.
Well, Marcus, I'll throw in our share and we'll go thirds.
We'll do thirds. That sounds good to me. Okay.
Oh, look, Marcus is opening the Mini 3 there.
I'm doing a DJI unboxing on screen. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Bill, I just want to say, Bill, that 25 points and $5 will get me a double latte down at the coffee shop.
There you go. I mean, you know, that's the way it should be. Okay. You know, think about this. All right. You know, it just does not make any sense whatsoever. Oh, you know, one thing that I can say, okay, I did get. Oh, look at you!
DJI sent Marcus the wrong item. They routed drones. They one of these wireless things. That'll pacify him.
You mentioned Sean, and it reminded
me. Now, Marcus, what's the flight time on those wireless mics?
I don't know. Let me throw them. We'll see. Hey, seriously, you mentioned Sean at Air Photography, and so I want to give him a shout out. He is the one that tipped me off that B&H had these in stock. So I went ahead and ordered it, and you know, you get it in a day and a half, right? So
yeah, well, he did a video recently, and it does give you some solace, Bill, that one of the biggest drone reviewers on YouTube doesn't have his Mavic 3 a Mini 3 any closer than we do, and Sean's got more subscribers than half of YouTube.
And there we go. Look what Bill did.
Oh,
direct from Marcus's B&H photo.
I wish you guys to stop ordering these DJI products. They're slowing our drones down. They're too busy sending out smart controls and wireless mics, and they don't have enough people at the warehouse to stick our labels on our drones.
Yeah.
You know, it's
you guys' fault that the Mini 3 is not here.
It's so funny. It's laughable. I mean, it's just, you know, it's beyond comprehension. It's beyond.
Bill, are the Keystone Cops the new employees over there?
I would guess so. Okay. Well, Stephen Ewing, you know, he's in the chat tonight. He let in, you know, he said, you know, the only thing that he said, you know, flying it, he's used to using his Z Fold 3 with great resolution. And he said, you know, the resolution on the screen isn't like that, but you know, he's gotten it up and he's been able to fly it, you know. And then I had posed an earlier question to them. I said, many customers outside the North American market said that they were on shelves in stores. Why haven't we been able to get them? And again, I get the, oh, you know, we'll bump you up in the queue and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like,
hey, so Bill, could it have to be, you know, we know about all the stuff with the U.S. government and DJI. Could they be stuck in customs, right? I mean, they're probably shipping them over by the pallet load. How would we know that, right? They could have pallets of them stuck in customs. Did the FCC thing, that, because we saw that approval very late, right?
Right.
Did that have something to do with it as well?
Could.
Well, Marcus, I got a little background on that story for you. With either the Mini 1 or Mini 2, I had a delayed, receiving that thing after you guys had got yours. And I don't believe it was DJI. I believe it was UPS that admitted to me that it was stuck in customs, like in Nashville or whatever. So that was an issue. But when I spoke to someone, I was told that was the issue. But I believe UPS told me that, and not DJI, that it was stuck in customs.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying, Ron. This is a little bit different. In other words,
that's different because that was a single package shipped all the way from China. And you're thinking this is a big
a bulk shipment.
Hundreds of pallets of them sitting someplace, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think what they do and how it was explained to me, because I got in and somebody explained this to me. What they need to do, and it's just only one has to pass customs inspection, okay, for the whole pallet to clear.
Oh,
All right, is how they do it, and because there's just one barcode on there. Let's say there's 1,000 of the product on one pallet. There's just one barcode on there, okay. So all they got to do is scan that barcode, and it's done, okay. And I think what they do is they probably pull one of them, open it up, inspect it, and then they're done.
Hey, Bill. So, one of the advantages of being on a show like yours and being associated with people like you and Ron Brown is we develop a lot of contacts in the industry, right? I just got a direct message from somebody that says they will start shipping in the U.S. on June 16th.
Okay.
wow. And I think Bill, that the customs guy, the drone customs guy, I think it was a holiday week. I think he took the whole week off and wrapped around to the week. So there's nobody to inspect the drones last week. He was on a like a 10-day vacation plus holiday sabbatical. But okay, if June 16th is the real date, okay, that's a disappointing date. It's a little slow, but at least if DJI would send us an email saying, hey, listen, we're not going to ship it, or you're not going to get it until the 16th either. Or, I mean, we wouldn't be happy about that date, but we would be happy that we were in the loop. That's the key question, Bill.
Bingo.
We like to be in the loop, don't we?
Exactly. Marcus, this is exactly what you said last week. You said the same thing. You said, you know what? If they told me June 16th when we ordered it on May 10th, fine. I'm good with that, okay? Because I have zero expectations to see anything until that date, okay? They put dates out on the website. May 31st it will ship. May 31st you'll get it. All this kind of stuff. And there's all and you're getting you know what? You're getting politician answers from DJI right now. Okay. It's like whatever will soothe your ears is what they're telling you at this point.
It's like our congressmen and senators needed a little extra money, so they got a part-time job doing a little PR for for DJI.
well, I hate to. I just got another message that says June 16th is when they're leaving China, not when we're going to get them. So what's it going to be? July, August? I mean, it depends. I put them on a boat, then it could be, yeah. And like Dr. B said in the chat here, why did they take our damn money then? That does piss me off.
Yeah, they could have taken. What is it? Taking $1 or taking $100 or like Scotty? They could have taken a small down payment.
Or the point of it is. So it's a pre-order, and then once the product really ships,
then the money's taken.
Then the money changes hands. Yeah,
I'm sure you guys checked your UPS tracking today, right, on your drone.
Yeah, and it's the same
old thing. If you dig deep enough, you could find and say the label. The label was printed someplace.
Well,
I was going to say, Bill, mine still says that it arrived last Saturday.
Yeah, but explain that, Marcus. You're signing into like a personal account. You're
right.
I have a UPS account as well, Ron. And it's saying it's shipping from Cerritos. And I'm like, okay, all right, when? Okay. And I think the thing is, and I saw somebody said, build a shipping reviewer. I said, no. Okay. And I want to bring up this point, and I think it's a very valid one. Because, I want to save some time to talk about the main subject of the evening here. All right. They have taken our money. All right. I don't mind if we get a date, true blue date saying it'll ship June 16th on May 10th. The three of us, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it right now. Okay?
Well, we discussed it, right? We'd be already talked about that other DJI drone.
The other DJI drone.
Yeah, we won't mention it right now, but yeah.
Yeah,
and they told you build the shipping reviewer. Well, but build the shipping reviewer can't be build the drone reviewer until that drone actually arrives.
Exactly. Okay.
You have to have to be a reviewer. You actually have to have a product in your hands, right?
Exactly. As our good friend Sean from Air Photography said, as a consumer, it's a moot point. But as a drone reviewer, like the three of us are, it's not a moot point. I can't create content right now with that. Okay. I have to go to alternate sources to do that. And, it's frustrating for us, but, the big thing here is, that they have taken our money. I made with my finance, I got, I paid bills the other day. I paid a bill on it. Okay. Already. I don't even have it.
By the way, thank you, Sean, for the tip. Sean's in the chat right now, and he's saying that his shipped directly from China, and the tracking number show. Yeah, okay, there you go. I have it on screen. So it is interesting that the U.S. is different, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Appreciate
so
that.
I keep saying North America, but I guess I'll soon have to restrict that to the U.S.
Who knows? Who knows?
How about Mexico? Are they shipping in Mexico yet?
Hey, let's take a trip to Tijuana. Let's party.
And you down there, we could bargain at one of the little shacks, right? For the prices drone. Hey, I'll give you so many pesos if you can give it to me now.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you know what? Now we're gonna talk about the main topic of the
boy.
And it's not the Mini 3 Pro. Okay.
So all the people that are whining about us talk about shipping can shut up now, right, Bill?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Okay.
I love you guys. Just joking.
It was stated in the chat last week, if I remember correctly. Okay, someone had mentioned something about a firmware update for the Mavic 3 in the chat. I wonder who that may have been. Okay,
a man that'll go nameless.
He will remain nameless, but
he's under DNA.
We thank him nonetheless. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the article from Drone DJ. We're gonna go over everything here. And then we're going to get our takes on some of this stuff.
And Bill, I got a little tip for you. I actually got done today, and I flew it already, so I got some.
You
I got
did.
some hands on to get to that point. But you run your agenda first, and I'll keep quiet.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and get this article up here, because it was a very good article, and I want to go ahead and get this shared. All right. DJI releases new firmware update for Mavic 3 drone, and it's a big one. Yes, it is a big one. Okay.
It took a long time to get it done, Bill, on the desktop.
Before that, okay, make sure there's a couple of important things before we get into what the firmware update is. The RC N1 remote controller firmware needs to be updated to V04.13.0600 and DJI RC Pro remote controller firmware to V03.01.0700. You also need to update the DJI Fly app, both on iOS and Android, to V1.6.4 to see the new features. Now, I'm going to go through all of these because I think this is important here. So
don't skip anything, Bill. These are biggies.
These are a lot. There's a lot here. So give me a minute. Add switch to the telecamera in photo mode, including single shot, AEB, burst, and time shot. Supports JPEG, RAW, JPEG plus RAW photo format, and ISO and shutter speed settings. Add switch to the telecamera in video mode, supporting 4K at 25, 30, 50 frames per second, 1080p at 25, 30, 50 frames per second format, and ISO and shutter speed settings. Adds HLG for the Hasselblad camera. Adds 1080p, 200 frames per second to slow motion when using the Hasselblad camera. Adds HLG and D-Log to shoot master shots and quick shots, not including asteroid. Digital zoom reaches up to 3 times in normal video mode when using the Hasselblad camera. Adds support to focus track, quick shots, not including asteroid, master shots, and hyperlapse for the aircraft when the wide-angle lens is mounted. Adds ProRes 422 and ProRes 422 LT format to the Hasselblad camera of Mavic 3 Cine. Adds 1 second option to interval time setting when using hyperlapse on Mavic 3 Cine. Adds DJI Mavic 3 D-Log to REC 709 Vivid LUT, providing a more vivid color effect. You can download the LUT via the DJI support website. Adds new nifty option for bypassing when APAS 5.0. The option comes into play if dynamic footage is your priority. It allows you to bypass obstacles much closer than previous options when offering a smooth trajectory. Adds resets all settings and clear all data options. Refer to Mavic 3 user manual V.1.6 for details. Adds support for Japanese RID requirements. Increases home point refresh rate. Optimizes the focus performance when recording with telecamera. optimizes the stability of the aircraft when shooting a hyperlapse, and fixes the issue wherein pilots were unable to use hyperlapse when flying near a flight altitude limit zone. Okay, that is a boatload of stuff here. All right, and I want to get your guys' take on this. So either one of you, take it away.
Marcus, you go first.
Well, no, Ron, you're the guy that did your update and have studied this.
Well, I don't want to talk forever, so go ahead and give your comments first.
I welcome all of it. So I'll be honest with you. I haven't really looked through it in detail yet, Ron, but the one Ron and I discussed it earlier today. And one of the things that I think is important is on the master shots. If you are a professional, you're doing a real estate shoot or anything or something like that, the fact that you can now do it in D-Log is important. So you can do those master shots. You can pick out the ones that you want to use in your video. And as Ron pointed out to me earlier today, you can then make them look exactly like the rest of your B-roll in post-processing. So
but you're shooting with a different camera.
Shooting with a different camera. So that's critical to those folks.
And also the build on that, Marcus, it's not just master shot. I discovered all the quick shot modes can be recorded in the D-Log now. Your droney, your favorite, the droney, the circle, the helix, they can all go in D-Log now. So yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that caught my eye, and Ron, you pointed this out to me, was APAS 5.0. Listen, anything that makes that drone more accurate in the air. We know it's got the sensors on there. Hey, what that tells you is DJI is making it even better for missing those small branches and those kind of things. And they've probably learned from some of the data that they've got back from the drone already, from people that have had incidents and so forth. So that is so welcome.
Yeah, I did not fly close to anything today except on takeoff or landing. So I did out in space. I didn't fly close to anything to give you any uptick on that. And one thing I know is I've been flying that other mini drone recently, not the mini drone, but that little Altel drone. And when I took off in the same spot, when it goes up, man, it's screaming like crazy. The obstacle avoidance sensors, it's going off like I hit the jackpot at the casino. Where you take the Mavic 3 off in the same spot, and it has better obstacle avoidance, but it doesn't make all this crazy noise. It warns you on the screen that's near stuff, but it doesn't take off like it's a slot machine or whatever. So I really appreciate that. It has good obstacle, but it's subtle. It doesn't go off like crazy. I know you hate the beeping on it, but at least the obstacle avoidance doesn't do what that little nano drone does.
I hear you.
So Ron,
not to bang on the nano, it's a good little drone.
So Ron, what's your take on this?
Okay. Here's the big difference, and that's not in here. And I haven't seen the screenshot yet. I'm sure somebody has up. When you're in the main screen of the drone, right? Whether you're on photos or video, it doesn't matter. You know how, like, right to the left of the record or the photo, the big photo button, it used to have like you could 1x, 2x, 3x, and then you had to hit the goggle button to get into the other camera. Well, right now, how this works is you have the 1x there. Now, in photos of different photos, it has a 1x. You cannot go the 2x, 3x, whatever on photos without putting the goggles on. But right above it's a 7x button. You hit that 7x button, and it takes you right to 7x. You don't have to fiddle through and hit it precisely. You go right to 7x. Now, when you're in 7x, you're stuck there. You can't go 8x, 9x. But the 7x is the one. That's the length. That's what do you call optical or whatever. It's not a zoom of any type. So that's the one you want to be in anyways. So you go right to there. And in photos, you can shoot raw with that now. And you can change the exposure, maybe other things where you could not do that stuff previously in photos with the 7X thing. You go over the video now, and that 1X button, it's always there. You can go 2 and 3X without the goggles. And the 7X button's right above it. So you can hit and go straight to the 7X. And in video, even in that 7X, you can now shoot in video D-Log and now HLG. And what HLG is, it's a like a color profile that makes it easy for you to edit in HDR. And I could go down a whole road here, whatever. But for people who have big HDR TVs, whatever, you can go in, you can fix that up so it'll look, usually with LUTs, you can make it look great for HDR. But the key is you have to have an HDR compatible computer screen to see what you're doing, though. So I have that on my new MacBook Pro M1, but not everybody has that screen. I don't want to go down that road, but that's some of the big improvements right away. And Marcus and Bill, wait until you get there. You can easily go to that 7X button and boom, and then boom, oh, I want a raw photo. Boom, I want to shoot D-Log. I mean, it makes it so much better. But you can still, if you want to, the goggle, you can still go and hit that goggle thing from that menu on the right or whatever. You can go in the goggles, and the goggles work the same way they always worked or whatever, except that I think some of these raw and D-Log stuff is in there now too. So it's a lot to unpack in there, Bill. Go ahead, Marcus.
Quick question. So when you click on the binoculars to go in Explorer mode, do you still have to be in just 4K 30, or can you be in 4K 60 or?
There's no one answer to this. It all depends on what you're in, what particular thing you're doing there. But I noticed that a lot of stuff now you can go 4K 50 on some of this stuff. Not
really?
4K 60, but 4K 50. So that just means that you can still do what you want to do, Marcus, but instead of shooting 30 frames per second, you just shoot like 24 frames per second and double it up to 50 or whatever. Or 25. Right. 25 is more of a European frame rate, but just do 48 and then just do 24, then set your shutter to 48 and you'll still be able to slow down.
Yeah.
There's enough stuff here, all right, with this firmware update. I mean, it could keep you busy for a good month doing videos on this. Okay?
Exactly. This is for people who like to do drone reviews. This list will keep us busy until the Mini 3 gets here. And just cut off just for a second, but I do want to give the good news they don't say in here. And I don't know if it has anything to do with update or not, but I started drawing twice today on the desk and a couple hours later out in the field where it lost the satellites. The satellites seem to come in faster than I've ever seen them before, Bill.
Oh, that is excellent news, Ron.
Maybe I just got lucky. Maybe I just got lucky. Maybe there's a satellite flying right over my house or right over the beach today. I don't know. There could have been other parameters, but both times I started to drone up again. I had enough time in between at the second start at the beach, did not retain the satellites. I had to regain them again, but both of those were lightning quick.
I think for me, one of the things that excited me was what they did with the zoom here. Okay. And I know Marcus has talked about this and he's brought up some really good points, going to one level of zoom is good, but going to the other one, it was like, oh, you kind of like just, you can tell it's like digital. You can tell it's not, it's not crisp, clear, and sharp. Okay. And the enhancements they did here with the zoom capabilities, I'm really anxious to get that out there and take a look at that. I think that's going to be really, really beneficial.
But some of the stuff I read today, some place or another, it said it increased sharpness for the tele lens. And I didn't look at the video off the memory card, but it did look sharper on my screen in the 7X tele.
Okay.
Now, that's huge. It is a trick though with that, Bill. Especially if you have wide landscape, you kind of have to tap the focus and they'll get sharper. So you pick an object in the screen you want to be the center point, you tap that and it will sharpen up for you.
Okay.
So that's a good tip. Yeah. But
that is a good point.
Ron, I know of at least 3 of us that are going to be trying that out on Friday out at the Snake River Canyon.
Michael Wright and you and Dr.
Michael
Ted.
Wright, I just texted Dr. B, so we're going.
Oh wow!
Awesome.
So
awesome.
I didn't know this update was coming. I might have to catch a red eye out there. Huh?
Well, you should. Yeah. It's not too late, buddy.
I'll have them parachute me right off into the Snake River Canyon, right down on Lookout Point or something. Or
I'll catch a flight with Maverick out there.
Yeah. Tom Slide's coming, but what I did know is Marcus talked about this before. Now in photo mode, you still cannot, like, without enabling the goggles, you still can't zoom in 1x, 2x on the Hasselblad camera. But of course you can go to that 7x right now. But on video, you could go 1, 2, or 3x without enabling the tele, and 2x looked, again, just on my smart control, 2x looked dead perfect, Marcus. 3X, I saw a little bit of maybe not quite as good, but 2X to me on that screen looked just as good as 1X.
Well, that's good to know, Ron, because that's been one of my biggest gripes, quite frankly, with the Mavic 3, is that I didn't feel that digital zoom was as crisp as it is like on the Air 2S. And as you know, previously you could only go to 2X without hitting the binoculars and going into Explorer mode. And even that 2X was okay, but I never felt like it was as crisp and as sharp as it was on the Air 2S.
And I do want to say to folks out there, I think I did try that in the 4K 50 frames per second. I think I did try that in D-Log. So that's not limited. Just that 3X is not just limited to 4K 30 standard color profile.
Right.
Yeah. There were so many variables today. You know what I mean? Like I found like sometimes things worked in D-Log and 50 frames, and sometimes they didn't. And Marcus, one thing it did, this may disappoint some people, on all the quick shots like the helix and the circle and the drone, most of them seem to be limited to 30 frames per second. Even though you could go D-Log at them, they still were capped at that 30 FPS.
Yeah, well, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because there's probably only so much processing power on that drone, and even if there is processing power, probably the more of it they use, the more it affects battery life, etc. So I'm sure there's always a balance when they engineer that stuff.
So I don't want to get too fanboy here, or whatever, but the updates that came out today, I mean, they may not be important to everybody, but these are little nit things that a lot of the hardcore users have been wanting, all these D-Logs and HDLs and raw photos of different modes. But I think to everybody, to just the common user that doesn't do all the other stuff, what they did today for the zoom lens, the tele lens, is worth the price of admission just itself. They took something that was kind of like not all that useful before, and they just made it a lot more useful today.
I agree, Ron. And and one of the things that I saw in there that really intrigues me, and I want to try it out because I haven't had a chance to do that, is that new slow motion. It's 1080p, but it's 120 frames per second. That's
200 now, Bill. 200.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
They bumped it from 120 to 200. That was the big news today.
That's the big thing. You're right. This bump for that's going to make it unbelievable, and I'm anxious to get up there and try. That's one of the things that I'm real excited about on this.
You're getting some buttery smooth footage up there, huh, Bill?
Yes, that's going to be that. I'm really. This is something, and you brought up a good point. For a lot of consumers, everyday people, this isn't, we're not getting really, we're not getting a new quick shot. We're not getting, a new obstacle avoidance feature or anything. These are all really kind of camera based improvements. And I'll tell you what, for those, the pure hobbyists like we are, this is meat and potatoes to us. Okay. This is something, that you look at when you're doing your footage. Okay. When you're out there shooting it and you plan it right with all the new tools that we've been given, okay, you should be able to put a masterpiece together with a $2,000 drone that would rival, like an Inspire 2 almost.
I think you're absolutely right, Bill. And I think that's what people miss about the Mavic 3. When I was on Drone Seekers, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, there were people on there saying, well, the Mini 3, that will replace my Mavic 3. No, it won't. It is just not in the same league. And it's not just video quality. It's these things that you're talking about, Bill. And I've always said that I'm not the greatest stick man that there ever was with a drone. But with that Mavic 3, just like what you said, Bill, I can do some master shots and I can do some different things. And I can put together a pretty professional looking piece just as a average Joe flying a drone.
And plus, of course, we don't have the Mini 3. We haven't flown yet. but no drone gets in position faster to get those shots you're talking about, to get master shots and circles, whatever. No matter where you are on the horizon, you can maneuver that Mavic 3 there quickly to the right height, the right position. A wind gust doesn't slow it down. I mean, it has no restrictions up in there as far as getting it in the proper position.
I agree,
and
Ron.
on all safely with the obstacle woods, because some slower drones you have to fly in sport mode to get any legitimate speed out of them. Where the Mavic 3, the sport mode, I almost forget it's there because in normal mode it just cruises
so
around
fast.
Right here.
With
fast.
all the stuff on. And Bill, I know you said about, we talked about most of the camera. We did get that improvement to APAS that allowed it to fly closer to objects, especially in things like the quick shots and whatever. So that's going to be a boom to even hobbyists, whatever, because hobbyists are the ones that are going to be using these features the most, and now they're going to be even safer with that increased APAS.
Let me pile on a little bit, Ron. So the other thing that people need to take into consideration, and especially here in Idaho where I'm at, if I'm going up into the mountains, up on the Boise front, going up towards Bogus Basin, or often if I'm out in the canyon, there are high winds. With the Mavic 3, it's just not an issue. The drone doesn't even know it. You go out there and you fly it like you would any other drone. A drone like the Mini 3, it's going to be something you have to think about. Whereas that Mavic 3, well, an example that I always use is when I was on vacation, I went flying out over the Columbia River when I was in Oregon. Well, a mini drone would not have been able to do. I had the Air 2S that day, and heck, I couldn't even keep a cap on. The wind was blowing so hard. That drone, it just went out there. I went to the other side of the river and back, and it was fine.
Yeah, there are benefits.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, I want to, you have to highlight and comment again. Well, I'm about to get Melanie's comment a minute ago about the bypass feature. And what she's talking about there, usually when a drone in is optical avoidance or bypass, or whatever word you want to and down here, but when it's flying itself, it may go around stuff, but it tends to be less cinematic. It looks a little jerky. Like the Scotty 02, it's the greatest drone ever, but it's always in optical avoidance mode, so it always looks a little jerky. And I can't, I don't know if this will cure that, which you said. I don't know if this new thing will help it look any smoother going around objects. I hope it does, but I can't say one way or the other, where it does. But I guess the bottom line is, even if it doesn't make it smoother, if it doesn't hit anything, that's the biggest benefit of all.
I got a comment on another thing in the chat here. Yeah, I mean, really, Image Quest, I don't know who you are, but the camera's not what it should be. What do you want? I mean, I don't even know what to say to a comment like that.
And which camera, Marcus?
Yeah, and which camera? I mean, it's by far the best camera that I've ever had on any drone that I've ever flown. So there you are.
Yeah, I mean, you thought about, and we always talk about this before the Mavic 3 came out. We were, we always, and Marcus brings this up, and it's always a good point to ponder before a new drone is launched. What's DJI going to put on there that we didn't think of that's gonna up the ante or get us excited about things? Okay, and DJI did it with the Mavic 3. They really did it. I mean, this drone rivals, like an Inspire 2 type of drone for the capabilities that it has. And it's only $2,000, really, if you think about it.
It probably has more capabilities, Bill. If you look back at that original Inspire 2, this Mavic 3 probably has more capabilities in all the intelligent stuff that's on it.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, the only advantage that Inspire has, you could put, different cameras and lenses on it or whatever. But yeah, again, it's hard to compare that to a compact drone that we fold down and put in a small case to something you need to fit in the back of your SUV or whatever. So, but Bill's right. I mean, for the money or whatever. And again, of course, it should have more. Inspire 3 is how many years old? It's like from the Phantom 4 era or whatever.
Exactly. Okay. And we're talking, it's like comparing apples to oranges right now. Okay. Because there's really no comparison. But if we were to do that, it would blow it out of the water with its capabilities. I
want to make that, Addie put up there about a comment about the Micro Four Thirds sensor on the, the M3 being so good. And I think some people get confused. Okay, it's a great camera, but it's almost like a real camera, whatever. It's going to take a little tinkering to get the best image out. Or some other people made like drones, kind of like your cell phone. If you go out with your iPhone and you just take a picture and let the auto thing, it's going to look better than if you take a picture with your $5,000 Canon or Nikon body, because you have to get in there and run a bunch of dials. That's the same thing here. Some cheaper drones are going to look better on the auto button than the M3, but if you actually tune the M3 camera, it'll look better.
Yeah, I agree.
So I want to also say to the Image Quest, whoever you are, listen, I wasn't disparaging you or your remark. I'm just saying that's my opinion, and your opinion is absolutely legitimate. So I didn't want that to sound like
I mean, if you don't like the M3 camera, you don't buy it or sell the drone and get something else or whatever.
Right.
Anything's up to the user. I mean, I'm from the old days in camera. Some people, Nikon's the best, no, Canon's the best, now Sony's the best, and you argue. And the point is, they're all good cameras. These people argue like just because one camera is better than another doesn't mean the other camera's not good too. You can have two good cameras. One can be slightly better, but the other camera is still good too. So it's how something looks is all your own opinion, and your opinion is right as our opinion.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And you brought up a good point, Ron, because back in the day, Nikon, you can do this, or Panasonic, you can do this, or Canon, you can do this, and it's like you're talking out, or now Sony can do this that the other ones can't, and it's just like, you know what? Okay, here's what I did. Okay,
the bottom line is they all took good photos, Bill.
Exactly. Okay, and for me, instead of spending $5,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 and buying a camera, I spent $1,200 and got myself an S22 Ultra. It takes pretty doggone good videos. And
Bill, I bet you if you took that camera and held it up in the air the same height you were hovering your drone at, you took a picture of that, and you took a picture with one of your high-priced drones, a lot of people couldn't tell which photo was better, and 50% of the people would say your Samsung phone, not knowing, was better.
Hey, I got a question for you, Bill. You held that phone up, and I was looking at one of their ads the other day for that model, and I was looking at all those lenses that are on there. What are all those? I mean, I'm not asking you to go into deep detail, but can you kind of?
No, one of the the two smaller ones are telephoto right there,
okay,
and then the other one it helps out with HDR, and there are so many options. You want to see this thing at night. Some of the pictures in video at night with this phone, this knocks circles off of any other video camera.
Bill, we need a review. We need a review.
I will do one.
Reviewer.
I will do one. And think about this, okay? I didn't spend $5,000 or $6,000 just maybe on a body of a Nikon or a Panasonic or
another $3,000 your prime lens for it.
Yeah, I didn't spend 10 grand for this, okay? And I'm getting unbelievable stuff from this.
Hey, Ron and I just discussed this morning. Our friend Jackie Akers over at the Drone Seekers, she just posted a video yesterday that she took completely with her iPhone, just using the controls on her iPhone. She edited it with her in iMovie. And I mean, it just looks so professional. So I'm just trying to make your point, Bill. It's amazing what you can do with these cell phones now, and you're not spending $5,000 on just the body.
And
hey, listen, I think Lauren left already. I wanted to toot his horn. If you didn't watch Lauren's video that he put up this weekend, where he flew down the same kind of river gorge with the Mini 3 and the Mavic 3, go over and see that video, guys.
Exactly. Okay. And the other thing here is this, and we're going to kind of wrap things up here, but with the quality that you get with like what I have right here with this, all right, I'm saving myself literally thousands of dollars, but I'm getting as good or maybe even better than ones that are spending unbelievable sums of money out there to, and the other thing that I like about this, when I'm done shooting a video on this, all I got to do is hit Dropbox, hit add files, boom, boom, boom. It's on my PC at home, no matter where I am.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, when I went to the Mavic 2 premiere in Brooklyn, when I was done shooting this, you know, I went out to Dropbox. I had a good connection, dropped everything in there, and then boom, it was there. It was ready to go to process when I got back home.
Marcus, should we tell about Apple Share?
Yeah. It works.
Apple has a share thing or whatever, where you just you have the video and you just hit a button, you send it to your computer, send it to your iPad or whatever,
anywhere,
and it goes over there. Like, well, I mean, a 4K. If it's an hour, it may take but if it's a short video, it goes over there in seconds, and it's the greatest file transfer protocol of all time. But sorry for the.
But it's
sorry for the Apple fanboy moment
same
here.
thing. I mean, it's really
the same thing as Dropbox. Yeah. You know, for me, Dropbox has worked flawlessly for years, and I've been very pleased with it. So, Marcus, any closing thoughts?
You know what? You know, we're all kind of, kind of upset over this whole Mini 3 thing. But, you know, at the end of the day, when we get that drone in our hands, we're going to be tickled to death. You know, we are. We always are, right? So, you know, it'll get here eventually. In the meantime, this is such wonderful weather to be flying drones in this time of year. I don't know about Florida, but I know it's cooler, still cool enough now that you can get out and do a lot of flying. So, and anyway, get out there and fly what you got.
Exactly. Thank you. Good advice. And yeah, I mean, I know, you know, we did our little, pity session about the Mini 3 coming late or whatever. But, folks, if you have the Mavic 3, if you're lucky enough to be an owner of the Mavic 3, just forget about that Mini 3. Get out there and do this update. It's a big update. It's going to take a while. And I had a little bit of problem. I had too much junk on my smart controller or RC Pro, whatever you call it. And I had to erase some stuff to get it going. That's how big the update is. I had to erase stuff to get on it. And I even formatted the memory card. I mean, I erased a whole bunch of old screen recordings and stuff off the RC Pro. But anyhow, it takes a while to do. And of course, you got to do the app and the firmware. And you have to have the app first. But it's going to take a while to do. But again, if you haven't flown your Mavic 3 in a while, this is almost you got a new drone here. It's such a pleasant experience. If you're a real kind of semi-pro and you want all these RAW and D-Log capabilities and HLG, then it's a whole new drone for you guys.
Exactly. You know, and I'm going to echo your sentiments. You know, number one, we're talking about the shipping delays for the Mini 3 Pro, and I think we're all kind of justified in being able to say that. But you know what? This is a gift that's been given to us with the Mavic 3. I'm going to go out there, probably not tomorrow because it's like, working, and then, now I'm in the office one day a week, and I come home and I'm flat out on the couch after dinner. Okay. Because that's almost a 2 hours, two and a half hours of driving every day that I'm not used to. So, but, for sure this weekend coming up, I'm going to do that, but it's a real treat to get this. And what they've given us is a real gift, and take advantage of this, and we have time before, put the Mini 3 Pro to the back burner. If you guys are lucky enough to have the Mavic 3, get out there, do the firmware update, make sure, like Ron said, you've cleared out memory. This is a big update, so it's not going to take 2 minutes. It's going to take several to get this done, so be patient, but you'll be rewarded. I guarantee you that. So with everything else, very thankful for those who, I know what Memorial Day is, but I'm still very thankful to those who served and are with us. And I'm very thankful for veterans. I know, Marcus, your father served, my father served. I'm very thankful for their legacy and what they've done. And I know it's not Veterans Day, it's the day after Memorial Day, but still. And one of the things that they did, and I'll kind of close with this, they played taps at our community, at the community pool yesterday before we had our picnic lunch. And I thought that was so appropriate because there were 6 gentlemen that went to my parents' church that my dad knew in the 1940s. He was good friends with all of them, 6 gentlemen. They never raised families. They never got married. They never came back. And, this is why we have Memorial Day. It's to remember their sacrifice. So I just kind of want to close with that. Guys, it's been a great day to fly. I mean, this Mavic 3 update is just absolutely fantastic. Get out there and enjoy it. As always, guys, it's a great day to fly. Take care.